Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Lit in English. And it is I guess, the second week of 2024. And we are in the five of Lit in English. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. And this is season five of Lit in English. And this is a very, very exciting season. I'm very happy with all of the presentation that we have so far. And as many of you who has been following us in the past year, you would know or you would be familiar with the code 3773. And today we are exploring the second the last code, number three, which will be the dream life. But just quickly before we go to today's presentation, I would like to do a quick recap on the previous presentation from last week. And of course, we very much appreciating all of the wise men, the teacher, our grandmaster, for sharing with us these amazing knowledge. And this is a journey to understand your inner self. And through that, we will be able to build the desired life, the life that we want to have. And we will be able to stand above problem when it arises. So thank you very much for joining us on this journey. All right. So last week we have a presentation on the dream job and why is it important. The presentation of dream job is extremely, extremely important because most of us in life, we wasn't sure of what we want to do, who we want to be. And the dream job help us answer some of the biggest questions in life, like why I am here, what do I need to do, what is my mission, what is my passion, which profession should I get into, and what kind of job, what kind of career I want out of this life. And most of us go through life not knowing these four important elements, and most importantly, how to combine these four elements in order to achieve ikigai, which is a Japanese term for the reason for being. That's mean the reason for I myself being like this, or you yourself be in the way that you want it to be. It is the ultimate journey that each of us needs to take. So through ikigai, uh, we we have a way to look at what the world needs and align that with the thing that we love. And once we know what the world needs and what we love to do, we work on it to be good at it so that we can be paid for it. And these four elements harmonize, and that will give us a reason for being, like the everyday activity, the everyday work that we put in to fulfill our mission, to fulfill our passion, to fulfill our profession, and fulfill our vocation. And in another word, it is the dream job that each of us need to seek out in order to live a very, very meaningful life. So a step next to the dream job will be the dream life, which is the presentation that we will go over today. And I would like to invite you to grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, and draw along and draw with me on this journey to figure out our dream life. And the reason we draw it like this is because this is extremely powerful. By putting the key point on just one piece of paper, it act as like a map, right? Because when we need direction in life, or literally direction to go somewhere, we need to have a map. And by drawing this, by going over this, you have all of the information you need to get to the destination that you want to get to. So let's start by writing at the bottom of the page today's topic, which is the dream life. Now, why is it important for us to realize our dream life? And of course, it is extremely important because obviously life is not just about doing the job that you're supposed to do. It is not just about the dream job. That is only a portion of what life really means. So the dream life will lay out for us the information we need in order to live a fulfilling life, the life that we deserve. And there are six pillars to have a dream life, to live life fully, to experience the world in our own way. And let's start with drawing a circle, which is the representation of the wheel of life. And this is almost like the invention of the wheel. And then let's divide that in half. Then again, let's divide that into six to represent the six important part that we would like to fulfill in our life. Now, obviously, the dream job is just it's just one of it. And the reason that the dream job has direct influences on the dream life because the dream job will first of all will give you time freedom because you get to do what you love and you get to do what you are good at and you're getting paid for it. So in a way, you have the freedom for doing the thing that you love. And because you are so good at it, you're getting paid for it. And that will also eventually give you time freedom. If you can look at people like Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk, those are the three names that I often mention. They truly reach their ikigai and they love what they do and they don't feel like they go into work because they truly love it. They will work for 80, even 100 hours a week. But those are the things that they love and they implement it to the activity that they like to do. And if they feel burned out, for example, at work, they can always have the option to take a break. Therefore, the dream job give eventually give people time freedom, financial freedom through mission, passion, profession, and vocation. So the two elements of time freedom and financial freedom is truly is what give the pillar of life for the dream life. So let's that sink in for just a moment, and I want you to truly thinking about what the six pillars are beside time freedom and financial freedom. All right. So let's I go ahead and put time freedom into one of these pillars. And to me, I think time freedom is super, super valuable. And I'm going to write that first up here, representing time freedom. So, and next to it, we will have financial freedom. Right, and so freedom. All right. And there are four other area, four other pillar that we need to look at. And so imagine that you have all the time that you want, and you have all of the money that you need it to do anything that your heart desire. What would be the next thing that most people would be thinking of? I would argue that it will be travel the world. So let me just go ahead and write on the left side of time freedom here. Travel. Whoa. Let's make it travel. Say travel the world. I was gonna say traveling the world, but let's just do travel the world. All right. So for most people, they would think it like this. And in fact, it's a journey that a lot of my friends have been through. And when I speak with them, most people would start with financial freedom. And even though in this journey to find your inner peace, to find happiness, we often uh, pointed out that financial freedom is almost like an illusion because most of us think that with money we can solve any problem in our life until we get the money, and then we realize that, oh, that's not it. That couldn't truly bring happiness. I mean, when you have more money, you have more responsibility. So when people have enough money, they tend to gravitate toward time freedom because without the time to do what you love, your money is meaningless. And once people have a little bit more time, they would want to do more stuff for themselves, do more things for themselves. And they would use that money and that time to travel the world to see what the world has to offer. And that is the baseline for most people. But the thing is, without there's one thing that is even more important than these three pillars. And unfortunately, most people don't understand it until they lose it. And that would be health, right? Because without health, you actually wouldn't be able to do anything. And therefore, let us discuss the element of health um, a little bit more. Okay. And if you can remember back to the principle of light, where we introduce the four category, that when we simplify all problems in life, usually we see the problem that people have to deal with their inner self, and then with their health, and then with their relationship, and then with their finance. And out of all of this, health is actually the most important. Just imagine that you have, let's say, $1 billion in your bank account. So you have number one, and then nine, number zero, $1 billion. So the pillar of health, the element of health, is like the number one in 1 billion. Without health, you won't be able to do anything. The rest of the zero are meaningless. And there's the common desire that all people have in this one place, and that is the hospital. Okay, for the patient, all of the patients, they just want to be healthier. Without help, they can't do much. You know, remember the day that you have to call in sick when you couldn't go to work. When you get really sick, you can't even operate your company, and you don't even have time freedom because you are too sick to do anything else. And of course, you couldn't really travel the world when you don't have a healthy body. Therefore, health is the number one priority. And we often forget about how to take care of our health, how to take care of ourselves. And most people are going through life trading their health for money. And some cases they trade health for money, and they didn't even make the money. They just losing health. So in this wheel of life, in the six pillars of a dream life, we needed to remember that health is one of the most important pillar, and we need to remind ourselves every day about maintaining a good health, because we often forget how valuable good health is. Okay. Now, what is another element that can contribute to your dream life? And I would argue that in order to have good health, it is important that we maintain self-development, as in we work on ourselves. And if you think back to the four category, which is the inner self, health, relationship, and finance, we realize that it is important to work on ourselves to cultivate our inner self. And that would demonstrate the importance of self development. Mm, well, nothing. What I have the word development, and I go for the health a little bit to remember that self-development is not just about the inner self, it's also about our body, about our health overall. And within the development of the self, we learn that there is a interconnectedness between the self, like as in ourselves, with other people. And by working on ourselves, we cultivate good social relationship. And because of that, I would like to add two elements in this pillar that go hands in hand, and that is self-development and good social relationship. and the emphasis is on good social relationship. And last but not least, an element, a pillar that can help you achieve the dream life as well as a dream job, which not too many people talk about, not too many people mentioning about. And that would be harmonious family, as in your family, your wife, your husband, your children, even your parent. It is important to have a good support at home in order for you to go out there and build your empire, to build that time freedom, that financial freedom, and travel the world with. And so just go ahead and write down the importance of a harmonious family. More, yes, family. And thanks to the wise men, our teacher, our grand master, and the expert, we was able to learn about the dream life through the six pillar of the dream life. And I would argue that each and every one of us would start at some point in this wheel of life, in this circle of life. But we needed to have a full picture of these six pillars so that we can work toward something to get closer to the dream life. And we need to understand that the dream life is all about the journey toward that dream life, and it is not a destination. Because once you feel content, you feel good enough, you feel happy enough with what you have, that is actually a barrier from getting into an even better life. And because of that, we need to we need to understand that the dream life is a journey. It is not destination. So where do we start? Where do we start from here? What we need to start up with is whatever we currently have, and we make it better. In fact, it is important for us to live a balanced life. For my my teacher, Professor Tao Ben Shah would put it, a good enough life. And let me explore this area and give you a real life example of how we can live a better life. So let's say that when I was in college, because I was so blessed with the help of my family, I have a lot of time freedom because I don't have to worry about paying the bill at that time. So let's say that my time freedom is at 10 out of 10. Okay. So my time freedom, I would give it a 10. and that would fill up the entirety uh time freedom at that point. And then financial freedom, I was good because I don't have to worry about paying the bill and I can just go eat good, eat well. Well, of course, I still have to be careful about the tied up expenses that I spend money on. There are things that I like, but I have to hold back because I don't want to spend too much money. So even though the freedom was there, but at the same time, there's a limit to it. And now that I think back, I would only give it a 4 out of 10. Back when I was in college, and that was like 15 years ago. So at a 4, this would be the representation of my financial freedom there. And each of us, okay, at different point of our life, we can use this as a references to figure out where we are at in our life. The next area, the next pillar, health. I was healthy, but I I didn't have a healthy diet pretty much. I was exercising, I was feeling great, I was young, but there was something missing. I was partying too much. Well, not a whole lot, but of course, like college time and something like that. Not truly live the best life one should. I would give it a 6. And this is 15 years ago about. But what we can do is that we can connect this to about 6 out of 10. That will be a wrap right here. And that is a representation where I was at with my health. What about self-development and good social relation? I was doing great at self-development. I've read a lot of books. I went to seminar and I learned from many, many great teachers. It was such a blessing to learn from them. And even social relationship, I was just so lucky to met great people at my age, and they was already successful, and they was already have strong principle. So I would give good social relationship. Um, so I would give it 10, but I was just so, I guess, stupid back then that I didn't know how to maintain a good relationship with other. So let's just give it a 7. Yeah, let's give it a 7. I really wanted to keep it an 8, but let's just keep it at a 7. And then we connect that 7 to health. And this is the representation of the pillar of self-development and good relationship. What about harmonious family? Um, at that time, I had to have a very supportive family. Uh, we have a very, very good family, but because I was living abroad here in the US and my family was still running their business in Vietnam, I was away from the family. And truly, I just give it a 5 because family was harmonious, but we wasn't there physically for each other. What about travel the world? I couldn't really travel the world. I was studying. I get to see different places here in the US, which was great. But compared to truly traveling, where you get to enjoy like a nice hotel explore the area the way that you want it to through time freedom and financial freedom, I will give it a two. Yeah, for solid two. Because when I say travel the world, you truly, truly travel the world, get to experience the culture and all of it. Okay. So keep in mind that all of us, we all have this circle of life, or the wheel of life. The wheel as in like the wheels that you see in the car. And prior to this knowledge, we are like a blind person walking in the dark without direction, without a map of our life, and we wouldn't know what we need to work on. And as you can see, the the six pillar of life here, they are not very balanced. And in fact, they don't even look like a circle. And you can't really call this a wheel. And for many of us who have already known, the invention of the wheel is extremely, extremely powerful because through the invention of wheel, it it pretty much is changed the entirety of human history when we move from hunting and gathering to agriculture, human was able to expand and grow their civilization very quickly, our civilization very quickly. So the invention of the wheel is extremely, extremely important. So in that way, the invention of the wheel to your dream life is extremely, extremely important as well. Because as the wheel can roll, it will make all the job easier, right? So imagine if you ride a bicycle or a motorcycle or even a car. Imagine having this box shape of a wheel. It would be terrible, right? Because all of this pointy shape here, it will destroy the road. And it will take a lot of energy, it'll take a lot of gases to move the car. So in this way, the most important thing is not about working all of the six pillar at the same time. The important key point here is that the will need to be balanced first. And I want to emphasize on the word balance. Because throughout our journey, you have learned that having a balance in yourself is extremely important. Everything needs to gravitate toward balance. As chaotic as the universe is, there's a balance to it, right? Like the way that the earth rotates around the sun, it has to maintain a certain distance in order to for us to have life on earth. Balance is extremely, extremely important. And as you can see, most of us, we don't really have a balanced life, a good enough life. So in my case, 15 years ago, I had a lot of time, not much financial freedom, not much traveling the world, not much harmonious family. I guess health and social relationship with myself and with others was good. So being conscious of this information, I can actually have a dream life 15 years ago. I didn't have to wait until now. I don't have to wait for 5 years down the road in the future, 10 years down the road in the future. It is all about the good enough life, balanced life. So if I can go back in time, what I would do is I would use my time freedom, use the time that I have, probably try to bring it down to a six, for example. And let's just do a quick math here. Let's say I have 10, and then 4 plus 6 is another 10, that's 20. And then 5, 7, and 2, that would be 14. That would be 34. So 34 divided by 6, you almost have like a 6. So each of these element here, we would want to bring it down to a 6. And I said about because it doesn't have to be exact. But when you have the balance of all 6 elements, you will lead much better. So let's say I have a lot of time. I'll take 2 of that point, 2 out of 10 of the time that I have to, let's say, get a part-time job or do some kind of investment, be a content creator, pretty much do something with that time that can help me make money so that I can have extra money to spend. And I will be able to bring that time freedom, financial freedom. I'm sorry. I will be able to bring that financial freedom to number 6 instead of 4. And then I will also use 2 of the point of the time freedom plus the extra money that I have to invest more on travel the world. And it doesn't have to be the actual world itself. You got to know where you are at. I would use that 2 point to invest on traveling. And it's good. It don't have to be far either. Maybe on the weekend, let's say go for a hike, go hiking, maybe go fishing, or even drive to a nearby city to visit friend, or just go because you want to boost up the travel the world. And doing that, I will have about 6 toward financial freedom. Let me go ahead and find that with the blue color. So let's say that I bring number 10 to 6, because I was able to boost up time freedom to 6. And then when I take 2 point of the time freedom to 2, that would boost up the traveling the world. And now what can I do with the remaining? What I can do is spend a little bit less time with my social relationship, as in friends and acquaintances. And then I can invest that to traveling the world to bring it to 5. Or I can do something even greater, and that is combining these 4 elements. And let's say I spend time to go visit my family in Vietnam at that time, and that will increase the value for traveling the world and harmonious family. Well, at this time, let's just focus on using what I have on this, and I would keep this as a 6 as my health, and then I will spend a little bit less time with friends and a little bit more time with family and traveling the world, and this will bring it to a number 5, and this will bring it to a number 5. So by doing this, my will of life, my dream life, is closer to reality. It will be more round. It will be more rounded. And let's do a representation, a more rounded wheel. Start at this five here. And it's like right in the middle. Yeah, that'd be right here. It'd be right here at five. And then some quality would be six here, 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 and right here. So this then would be the, I don't want to draw over the word. So in fact, let me draw with a smaller pen here. So if I can connect these, I will have a more rounded dream life. And remember, this is just the beginning. Because once you are able to do this, then the wheel of life, the dream life, can can rotate easier and it will be smoother. And of course, you don't have to stuck here. You can do more things in order to enlarge this wheel of life, the dream life. For example, you can work smarter, making the right investment in financial freedom so that you can have more money, but you're investing less time in working. So imagine that in the beginning, I might work a part-time job, but then I will be able to start a business. And doing that, I will be able to increase both my financial freedom and my time freedom, right? So I can increase it to, let's say, number nine for both financial freedom and time freedom. And I can use that time freedom and money freedom to go visit my family, go visit my friend. And that can also boost up my travel the world. So with one action, I can fulfill all three of these elements. And because I traveling, eating good and walking around a lot, you know, do physical activity like mountain climbing or hiking. I can also work on my health. The point is, once you can acquire a more rounded, balanced life, you can then work to enlarging the dream life. So the dream life is something that anyone and everyone can acquire right now, right away. And this is the importance of living the good enough life first. Okay. So imagine this scenario. Imagine that you started a company, and because the company is new, but it starts seeing success very early on, you you figured out that you have to spend a lot of time with it. Like Elon Musk, for example, the second that he started Tesla, the second he started production, he has to live inside of the factory so he can oversee everything, so that he can encourage his worker. So by doing that, he gave up the entirety of his time freedom to make sure that everything else worked. He gave up the traveling the world. So he sat sacrificing two of the most important elements in the dream life to fulfilling financial freedom. He probably invests some of his health too, but what all of that investment yield financial freedom, he probably had to sacrifice his harmonious family as well. But what he was able to do is self-development, and he built good relationship with his worker, with people all around the world that was supporting this project, the people who already prepaid for the Tesla. So yes, in life, there are situations where you have to give up other pillar of life for a short period of time in order to do really well, really, really well in one area. But that is a short-term thing. So you don't want to live your entire life like that. But once that we are able to get back to a more balancing life, a good enough life, we need to go into this wheel of like the sixth pillar, the dream life, right? Yeah, obviously, Elon didn't have to spend all of his time in the factory. He could, he could be really good at it, but he don't have to. Maybe only need to do 50%, spend 50% of the time there. But he know that he can do even better. Just like me, just like everyone who is listening to this presentation right now, there might be time that you stay up late for that final exam that you didn't study for. There might be time that you stay up late to run deadline on your project. Or maybe there are times where you just have to support someone that is very important to you. Maybe because they have health problem or life problem that you really need to be there for them. So yes, there are times like that that you can perform well. Your performance is just so great. But normally on an everyday things, everyday life, you don't have to. You can operate at 50%. You can operate at 30% because you know what? By doing that, you will live a more balancing life, a more good enough life. And over time, your capacity will increase. Okay. Just because you work 30%, it doesn't mean that it will be any less than other people. And I love Elon Musk's accomplishment. That's why let's just use him as an example again. He might even only spend 10% of his time on one of his many, many company. Let's say he have 10 great company, 10 great project that he's working on right now. He only need to spend 10% of his time, even 5% of his time on each of his company. But the work that he put in was just so great that it is outperform any other employee in his company. So yes, your will of life can be smaller in your capacity, but it does not mean that it's anything less than what other people can accomplish. And the dream life give us a roadmap on how to do that, how to be balanced first, and then how to grow the capacity of the will. And this is very much the foundation of founding information to lean toward the dream life. And again, I want you to remind everyone that this is a journey. It is not a destination. And eventually, by doing this, you will be closer. Eventually, you will be closer to that perfect life, to that dream life that you very much deserve. So we have to start from somewhere. We have to put in the work to eventually increasing the quality of our life to very close to perfect. And I'm not talking about perfection here because, again, this is a journey. The dream life is a journey toward the dream life. It is not destination because there's no cap. It can grow to as much as your heart desire. And when I first learned about this presentation, this lesson here, I have a question, and I wonder if many of you will have the same question. I was like, this is great. You know, all of the information we share here are great, but how can we do it? How can we get there? And of course, there is all the things that I have shared in lit and English. There are way to do it. Okay, not just information. There are step by step to do it, and everyone is different. Each of us is at a different point in our life, and our journeys are all different, but there is still the same exact journey that each and every one of us had to walk through. So there is a way, right? For example, let's talk about health. All of us want to have a healthier body, but do you know how to be healthier? Do you go to the gym make you healthier? Obviously not. There are people who exercise a lot. They get really, really big, very muscular. But the question is, are they healthy? And they might not be. What about a skinny person? Is a skinny person healthy? Not necessarily, because that person can still have high blood pressure. What about a bigger person? Is that person healthy? This might be overweight, but he is very healthy, right? Or not. So there are different elements of health that we need to be familiar with. And those are the information for later on down the road when we go in much deeper of the seven holistic wealth, because that is not just an introduction. In the seven holistic wealth, we will point out to you how to elevate your inner understanding, how to read wisdom about the present, how to have the right presence in the right setting, the right scenario. And similarly, the four pillars of life of the inner self, health, relationship, and finances. When the time is right through this journey, we will have more information of how to get there. And just a quick information on health, there's a lot of great idea like health is coming from the kitchen. Do you realize that? And the saying that health comes from the kitchen because what you eat determine the nutrition that you nurture your body. Therefore, how you healthy or not is there's a there's a big influences from the kitchen, right? And when we speak of health, people usually relate having a good health with having beauty, right? When you look at someone, you were like, oh, that person is healthy. Or in some other perspective, when you look at a beautiful person, like what is beauty truly? Is it because they look healthy, or is it because they are very smart and friendly? And we already introduced this back in the seven holistic wealth, which is obviously when we look at someone, we admire their beauty. There's, of course, the physical beauty, the material world of beauty, and there's the immaterial world of beauty, which containing wisdom, presence, nobility, and virtue. Therefore, when we speak of health and beauty, there's only three parts that show toward the outside, and there are seven parts toward the inside. It's all about wisdom, presence, nobility, and virtue. Is that person appreciative? Is that person have gratitude? Does that person have inner peace where you can feel peaceful around them? All of those elements matter because everything is interconnected. But for the purpose of today's presentation, the focus is the dream life, building on top of the dream job. And it is beautiful because it shows you a roadmap of how to get there, a real map. Because most of us, we go through life without a map, without knowing where to go, where we come from, and where we're going to be. Now, this is the map. And it's not just any map, it's the map to find your dream job, the map to find your dream life. And in the next presentation, I will present to you the seven magnitude of life and the reason why we need to aim toward the seventh magnitude. And it is a journey, it is a roadmap, it is the right map. And it's so important to have the right map because just imagine, right? I live here in Portland, Oregon, and imagine that I carry in my hand like a map. In the corner is right Portland, Oregon, but it is actually not the map of Portland, Oregon. It could be the map of, let's say, Seattle, Washington. By using that map, I will not get to where I want to be. Similarly, if you're in Vietnam, for example, you live in Saigon and your map says Saigon, but it's actually a map of, let's say, the capital of Vietnam, Hanoi, you know, you would be lost. And it doesn't matter how hard you try, you will continue to be lost. This is the importance of gaining wisdom, gaining information, gaining the roadmap so that we can get to where we want to be. And I really can't emphasize this is no. And I'm thankful that we are able to go on this journey together. And to that, I am thankful. And at the same time, congratulate to you who acquire this knowledge. And I can't wait to see the changes that you will acquire over time through having this knowledge. And thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next week.